Play show.
What is happening, CSU family? It's your host, C. Mutcherson, here at the Laker Lockeroom, ready to put you up on game about your CSU student athletes, upcoming sporting events, and everything else that falls under Laker pride. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here at the Laker Lockeroom with head coach Mike Mead and assistant coach Chris Brown. So, can you guys tell me about yourself, your track history, all of that? We can start with you, Coach Mead.
Sure. Well, I'm in my 24th year of cross country here at Clayton State, and be starting, I think, year 22 this coming fall when we crank up indoor season. But I've most of my background before I got to Clayton was as a student athlete myself. Competed in 5 NCAA Division II championships, 2 in cross country, 3 track and field while I was at West Georgia. So I had the opportunity while working here. I was the first sports information director we had here at Clayton State, and spent 5 years doing that, and then became the cross country coach in 1995. It was my first season of coaching experience, and all my time has been put in here at Clayton State.
All right. What about you, Coach Brown?
My background is more so of the running side. This is new for me, so I've been coaching now for about a month and a half, 2 months. So I'm expected to learn a lot from Coach Mead and continue the legacy.
So, Coach Mead, can you tell me why did you choose to coach here at Clayton State ultimately?
Well, it wasn't so much that I chose. I was already here at Clayton State, as I mentioned, being the sports information director. And back around the 94, 95, when the university decided to go from an NAI program to Division II, we had to expand our sports offerings. And the athletic director at the time knew that I ran, because I was pretty active in running on a club level, like for the Atlanta Track Club, Masters team, that sort of thing. And so he offered me the opportunity to coach, which, again, I never had any prior coaching experience, helping out now and then, maybe when I was at West Georgia as a graduate student, or if somebody reached out to me doing maybe on a personal level, but to actually do that. So I welcomed the opportunity and the challenge, and with what we've had to work with, I felt like we've accomplished some things, but I think there's a lot more we can accomplish, particularly now that we've added Coach Brown to the coaching roster, because he's my first full-time assistant that I've had here during this time. So real excited about that.
Okay, so that's a really good bridge into your answer, Coach Brown. Why did you choose Clayton State?
Well, actually, I wanted to give back into a program to where kids get the opportunity that not going into a big Division I program and being swallowed up. I wanted to be able to help build a program with kids that not having that same opportunity, but here just being able to let them see that they can compete with those universities, that it doesn't matter where you are, but you can go there and compete with the best in the world. So I wanted to just be able to take my talent and help expand that legacy.
So with all of this experience under both of y'all's belt, we do feel comfortable putting our trust into you guys as far as what we want to accomplish. So what can you tell me about some of y'all's accomplishment?
Personally, as what, a coach or an athlete?
As an athlete.
Well, I only can speak for myself. As an athlete, like I said earlier, I went to 5 NCAA Division II championships, 3 in outdoor track and 2 in cross country. So at least as far as I know, at least in those events, which were more distance oriented, that I know what it takes still to get there as a student athlete. Some of the other accomplishments we've had since 2002, kind of lost a little fuzzy on the numbers, but we've had at least 13 All-Americans combined between the men and women's program. So we've been our strong suit the last few years have been in like the triple jump on the women's side, the women's high jump, the men's 800. Going back 10 years ago, we had good representation in the 400 and the 4x4. So we're just trying to get back to that level of, say, on the as I mentioned earlier about the 400 and the 4x4 that we had here within the last 10 years. So And just probably the most proudest is always seeing the athletes, depending on what their ability background, that they've achieved their best, and ultimately that they graduate from here with their degree.
I've done two NCAAs in 2000 and 2001. Came fourth and third once. 5 Olympics. 4
Olympics. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Coach is a little humble about that.
Well, my first Olympic Games was in Sydney, Australia in the year 2000. And my last Olympics that I competed in was in 2016. In between those, I did Athens, Greece in 2004. I came 6th with a team, my 4x4 team, 2008. We went to Beijing and we got a silver medal in the 4x4, and in the open 400 I came 4th. In 2012 we won the gold medal in London, and I came 4th again. 2016 I only ran the relay, and we came home with a bronze medal. I also competed at the Pan Am Games, where I was a double gold medalist in the 400 meters and the 4x4. That was a huge achievement for me because that was my first podium finish, and the highest podium finish I finished in the Pan Am Games before. And indoors I've competed from 2003. At that time I was just a rookie, so I was only good enough to run the 4x4. But then in 2006 was my breakout year. I came with a bronze medal and a personal best of 46 seconds. And
that's in the 400, right?
Yes. And then 2008 came again with the next bronze, and that was in Moscow. And from 2008 to 2010 at Doha, Qatar, I won a gold medal in Doha indoors. And then 2012 I got a bronze. In 2016 in Eugene, Oregon, it was a silver medal in the men's 4x4. That's just a few of them, but...
So how many gold medals is that?
I'm not sure how many gold medals I have, when I was younger, I used to count them. I used to count all my medals and trophies and plaques, but after a while, you just say, oh, well, here's the next to the collection, and you just put it to the side and dust it off and add a new one to the collection. But that's basically it for that. But
can you guys tell me about your plan as far as this upcoming season? What are your expectations?
Well, at least the expectations going into the track season, we're midway through the cross-country season right now, but we're focusing on this conversation about track and field, and we just want to build on where we ended last season. We have a relatively small squad by standards. We're carrying about 20-some on each team, and so there's a lot of events to cover, but we're focusing primarily on the events that we have student-athletes competing in to make the most noise or have the best outcomes. For example, this past year, we were fairly dominant on the women's side in the sprints. We've never been known to be a sprint program, but in the Peach Belt Conference championships, we scored the most points of the conference teams in the 100, 200, 400, and the 4x1. So, and then on the men's side, we were relatively dominant in the 2, the 4, 4x4, 4x1, as well as the 800 as well. So those events we're trying to build on, and particularly with our 400-meter runners, both on the women's and men's side, of getting to a national recognition of being one of the top, say, 4x4 relay teams. We're going to be focusing on that relay particularly. We want that to be our premier event here at Clayton State this coming season, to where we can give the team and the university some recognition at the national level, as well as the conference and the within the region and in the local area.
Are you looking for new recruits?
Well, we definitely need to expand primarily in the women's team for this current year and in the future years. So there's definitely opportunities. We're looking for, if there's any listeners out there that are at Clayton State currently and have had a track background, we welcome those individuals, and it's pretty wide open on the team right now, whether it's distance, hurdles, sprints, jumps, throws, relays. We have some of the areas fairly, but you just never know who that one next person might come in, and with the combination of the individuals we currently have in the program, that might spark them and push each other and even go to a higher level than what we currently expect some of our ladies. So, but yes, we still got open invitations for women for this current season.
So for anyone nervous out there about coming out, do you have anything, Coach Brown, to inspire them, push them through the door?
Well, if you're nervous, you could always bring a buddy along so the buddy could encourage you. But for us, we welcome you with open arms. We don't want you to feel afraid. If you have the talent that you can come out and put in the work, and you're ready to take your career to the next level, then this is the place to be. Because in the next few months, when we start performing, we're going to let our feet do the talking, and the rest will be history. So, like Coach Mead said, we just want to make sure that you run fast, graduate, and enjoy the experience. Whether you want to pursue it after, and that's another story. But while you're here, we want to make sure that you get the college experience, and we want to make sure that you compete against the best talent in the conference and outside of the conference. So we want to make sure that every individual is taken care of, and they can walk away knowing that, hey, I had a good time, and I enjoyed my experience. And if I had to do it all over again, I would choose Clayton State.
All right, so that is all the time that we have here today at the Laker Locker Room. I want to thank Coach Mead and Coach Brown for sitting with me today. Women, please be reminded that we are looking for recruits for the current track and field season. That's the 2018-2019 season. Feel free to stop by Coach Mead's office located in the Athletic Center. And helping me sign off today,
This has been Mike Mead, the men's and women's head track and field and cross country coach, signing off from the Laker Locker Room. Go Lakers!